Okay, we're live now. Now call to order this session of the Huntingburg Common Council. Pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Father God, thank you for those that are here to serve the day, for those in our community that are here to provide their input. We ask now as we go into this council meeting that you guide the decisions that are made here today, that we may do them with an open mind and with the best interest of our community in mind. For these things we ask in your son's name. Amen. Do we have a motion to hear approval of the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from the 3/11/25 council meeting.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Everything a roll call.
Do we need a roll call?
Yeah, we do. McFerrin,
Aye.
Bounds, Ware,
Aye.
Bolte,
Aye.
Kissling. Aye. 4 ayes, 1 absent.
All right, motion carries. We hear a motion to approve the claims.
I'll make a motion to approve the claims.
I'll
But-
sec-
Go ahead.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Farren,
Aye.
Bounds, Ware,
Aye.
Bolte,
Aye.
Kissling. Aye. 4 ayes, 1
All
absent.
right, motion carries. I have nothing new today other than just say that thank you for approving the hoarding ordinance that we had last meeting. We've met today with our city employees that will be enforcing that, lining up our next strategy of getting the letters out, getting the pictures and what background we can to move forward with that, and just to let you know that there is some movement. We got to kind of prioritize a little bit what ones we can tack as quickly as we can, and we're looking at those that are the worst 5 or 6 offenders first, and going from there.
Okay.
We're gonna have we have April Lesser coming up today. There's a new medical qualification policy that's that we're required through the state through our funding to be able to put in place. This was reviewed by Andrea as well as April and myself, and just give it to you, April.
Yeah, so they're just updating this policy. One of the updates that they're doing is they combine the prescription drugs with the over-the-counter drug policy, so it's together. So I don't know if you guys have a copy of the old medical policy. I'm sure Bill does, but it's together now, and
This is really disclosure policy for the drivers, disclose what medication they're under, and whether they're able to drive or not.
right.
There used to be only prescription, right, that they had to declare, but now that they must declare over the counter additionally.
everything.
Okay.
And Andrea and I worked on page 16, if you look at the consequences of the policy violations. This was up to us, what we put here, and we worked on those together. So I don't know if you reviewed those, the disciplinary action that we would take. If it was a first offense, it'd be a verbal warning and a plan of improvement. Second offense would be written warning with possible unpaid leave or suspension. Performance of safety sensitive functions when adversely impacted by prescription or over the counter medication. They would be removed from driving, and we would send them to a MDO for a medical evaluation. There's the possibility of them being terminated or suspended. It would be based on the circumstances surrounding the incident or the accident. So, and then it needs to be adopted by the Common Council and approved. So there's I gave a copy to Tom that needs a couple signatures on it.
Okay.
So,
The other, go ahead.
like somebody wants to take an aspirin, they gotta report that? I mean, is that how depth?
We're supposed to, okay, so whenever they go to the doctor, there's a medical form. If you look in the back here, there is a medical form that has to be filled out by a doctor if it's a prescription drug.
Okay,
Now, if it's this page here,
okay,
it's like page 18. Okay, so the driver fills the top part out, and if you look down here, there's a group 1 drug, group 2 drug, group 3 drug, okay? And it tells you, like, if it's a group 3, you're not supposed to be driving, basically. So the doctor will mark what group the medication is and whether it's over the counter or prescription, and then how often you'll be taking it, and then sign off on it,
Okay.
okay? Well, they bring that to me, and I have to send it up to IU to get it approved before they can drive, if they choose not to take the medicine until I get this back, but this has to be in their file, because if they would have an accident and they didn't have it like recorded with us, then that'd be automatic fire. But if it is recorded and they have record of it, then, you know, it just depends on the circumstances.
Okay,
But yes, your question, if it's a over-the-counter drug and you think it's gonna possibly affect you, definitely, any kind of like cold medication. Like,
Mhm.
when we go for our physicals every 2 years, I always tell them, put all your over-the-counter medication on there, even your prescription, so that they approve it, like, when you're there. So my go-to is Alka-Seltz Plus when I gotta go. So I always make sure I have that on there, extra strength Excedrin, you know, the stuff that I know that I'm gonna use, I put that on there.
Okay,
If you look at the bottom of page 13 at top of 14, it puts us back on the employee to read what's on there and follow the warnings that are suggested based upon the use of that. So if they're taking a vitamin or something, there are no warnings regarding use of a vehicle or any other type of work that wouldn't necessarily fall into this. But some of those that they look at is the over-the-counter medication that adversely impacts employees' ability to safely perform their job duties. Any medication contains alcohol within 4 hours, such as cough medicine or something like that, within 4 hours, or the use of a combination of over-the-counter with the same active ingredients that could result in an overdose.
And a few years back, when everybody started using the, what was it called? It had THC in it.
Yeah.
So people were using that for their mood. And we had drivers that were pulled in because they thought they were using, you know, illegal drugs.
CBD oils.
Yes, CBD oils, that's it, yeah. So we had some that actually tested positive because of that, so you really have to pay attention.
I think it's mainly just, I mean, they have a lot of lives in their hands, you know what? So I think it's just best that I'm sure a lot of all public transit has some sort of something like this, just to keep people safe and to make sure that they're not. I think sometimes whenever you take medicine, you accidentally, or you could accidentally have an impact that you don't know about. So this is just covering that. So I think this is good. Yep.
It covers it all, and, you know, every transit system
Mhm.
anywhere that's operating off government funds has to follow these rules. So it's across the board.
All
Pretty
right.
standard.
Thank
What
you.
we just
Yeah.
need to do to a first and a second.
Motion to adopt the policy.
Any more discussion, or do we have a motion to adopt?
The only thing I was gonna make comment was, it's very clear in here that it's the employee's responsibility and there's a series of. First, second, third offenses, but you know, falsification of something is automatic termination, failure to report is automatic termination. It's very clear, so this is standard across. You know, the state and everything, so that's fine. So I would make a motion to adopt.
I'll second.
We've got a motion to adopt and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
McFerrin,
Aye.
Bounce, Ware,
Aye.
Bolte,
Aye.
Kissling. Aye. 4 ayes, 1 absent.
All right, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Speak with you.
Now where they have.
Wanna sign that?
Sign it whenever they get to.
Somebody.
So they know what they're
We're gonna
doing.
have to have-
Applicants,
We'll get a training on it too. All right, next we have Energy
Signing up
Superintendent
for a
John
drug test.
Fuller.
That's okay. I'm good.
Council.
Oh, John.
Oh, Mr. Bears.
3 new services this month, got 4 on file. We did change 41 gas meters out with the new census meters. We're up a little over 3,000 now, it's been converted. And you can see in the pictures, we had to cut out a 30-foot section for 4-inch gas main on First Street by the fire station, the police station. The old line went right across by the lid, just under the surface. When they put the new, get the castings out, put the new castings in, that line had to be moved permanently. And they're gonna move it over a little. So we had to weld line stoppers on it. Then we had to weld in the new pipes. As you can see in the pictures, quite a undertaking.
Yeah.
And we had to wait till they were done. And then we had to go back and put the line back in. And see where a welder almost got to stand on his head when he welds. Get the underneath side of the pipe. Then you gotta make sure it's all lined up correctly in the end, because
Yeah,
it'll be right on, and
I do.
it takes a lot of several measurements, precision cutting. It all worked out good.
I was down there when I was working on that line. I was very impressed with what they were doing and how they did it.
Yeah.
I can't imagine a welder that's better at it than what we would have, so.
Very, very good. Not to burn through the pipe,
Yep.
hit the gas.
Yeah.
But we got her done, covered up. All back in service. Any questions on the gas?
Yeah. Very
Good work.
Good job.
Moving on to the electric. Put 2 new services in. Both at Hunter's Crossing, there's only 2 empty lots left. You're getting ready to build the 1 of the 2. So that whole subdivision will be done. Then the electric crew did finish up at the new library, the new addition. We had to add a phase line, 1 to 2 back. So we went over and took the temporary stuff down, got the permanent service in. That's all finished. As you can see, the library, it's got the outside pretty well taken shape. Then we rebuilt the electric line on Bergman Road southwest, which is just the corner of Sunset and Cherry Street as we headed toward Ferdinand. An old rickety line, had old copper, so we set 6 new poles. Had a short outage, took down the old copper line, we put some aluminum up, so that line's in excellent shape now. Then after that, they moved over to Orchard Ridge. There's no 3-phase line there, which really wasn't needed. We scheduled a short outage with everybody out in that area. We took down 2 of the phase lines that weren't being used. They were old copper. And then the other phase was aluminum we put up years ago. So went ahead and got rid of that. And then we're gonna work on a section down by the park. I need approval for the wire. We're gonna go underground. A large section of trees. Every time a limb comes out, usually breaks the line, knocks the circuit out. Takes us hour and a half, 2 hours to put it back up. We talked to some of the homeowners, they want to keep the trees, so that was one of the options, to take all the trees out. But say they wanted to keep the trees, so we went a different route, so we're gonna go underground. So I do have a quote for the wire from Brownstown, $12,475. Need approval on. That's the only one we can get the wire from is Brownstown. It's a regional territorial thing. That's why I don't have 3 quotes.
We need a motion to.
Take a motion to approve the quote from
475.
Brownstown Electric.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Then I need
Roll
Need a
call.
roll call.
Opposed.
Opposed?
Oh, those opposed. Thank you. Waiting for each other.
Yeah, McFerrin,
Aye.
Bam, Ware,
Aye.
Bolte,
Aye.
Kissling. Aye. Four ayes, no nays.
Motion carries. Thank
One
you.
absent.
Then I need approval for the small bucket truck. Got the quotes on. You see, we sent out for 3 quotes,
Yeah, two.
2 came back. You see the price. They all take it, the cheaper one, 161,515. Give us 5,000 on trade in on a little bucket truck. And it's like 15 months out. It's a possibility we could get a little sooner, pretty well a generic truck. So possibility get a little sooner. We don't have to have all the bells and whistles on it, like some of these other utilities. They load them up, but we don't see it necessary, get the cost down. It's a Ford 550.
Look comparable with what you got now, pretty much.
Yeah.
You got an All-Tech now?
That's a Terex.
Is it Terex now?
Mhm.
It's amazing how expensive these things get.
But,
So you're looking at how many months to get this?
10 to 15 months.
10 to 15, okay. Do we still have the other big truck on order too, right?
Yeah.
And what's the
It's-
status on that one too?
It should be here in August. Had it ordered, be 2 years in July, I think. Had it ordered.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
2
all.
years. We were gonna reevaluate to see if we needed it and cancel it and move it to another 2 years, if we, right? I mean,
Yeah.
so you're gonna need that truck, right? Okay.
That's,
And the funds are there.
Okay.
I'll talk to Tom. There should be no problem.
yeah, these things get dangerous the older they get, and
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, bucket truck. you can't-
those buckets can fall at any, they're.
I mean,
So this one here
But you can't have a bucket truck. Bucket break.
Yeah. Do you pay, when do you get, so do we pay for this one up front or do you wait till the delivery at this $161,000?
When it gets delivered.
Okay.
you know,
I'm happy.
Yeah, makes sense. So we got some time
Do
to.
the other way.
You don't have to pay nothing down or anything.
Okay, so you need approvals,
So we need a motion to approve
I'll make a motion to approve
161,
I'll second.
515,000.
514, okay. 61, 514. Any opposed?
Barron,
aye,
Bounce, Ware,
Aye.
Bolte,
Aye.
Kissling. Aye. Four ayes, one absent.
All right, motion carries. Thank you. You have your permission.
I would like to say during that storm the other night, we didn't have a single outage.
Well,
Way to
I
go.
know it got
Very
wind.
impressed.
Yeah.
Most of it went north of us.
I want to commend you. I was at the Southwest Mayor's Conference last Thursday, and that was the common theme of people still without power 5, 6 days later. They asked us how we did, and I said, well, some of you mayors I called, we offered our assistance. They didn't take it, but we had our street department and wastewater, both got calls from them. Want to know if they could help at Oakland City or anywhere that I know the biggest ones really were Oakland City, Ireland. They had Lagodi at that time.
Brunt of it went north of us, but still got a lot of wind. The guys have been doing a lot of tree trimming, which helps.
And I think just your line, like the pole replacements, things, you guys have been doing a phenomenal job to look ahead. Yeah.
Built up ship.
you know,
Yeah, the biggest delay was pole replacements from other communities. They didn't even have enough poles, some of them.
seen a lot of leaners.
Yes.
So,
We didn't have no calls that night, but the next day when it gets daylight, everybody goes out. There's a few limbs hanging on electric line or something. They had to go.
it's nice to
Small
brag.
calls, but
It was nice to brag about our electric department to the other
didn't have any
mayors.
others.
I'm very fortunate. Thank you, John.
Awesome. Great job. Thank you.
Your department as well. Okay,
Yeah.
Jerry, here we go.
Even said a couple good things about Jerry last.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
It cost you.
All righty, we'll jump into distribution. We as we've talked in the past, anytime we find an abandoned water service that we didn't know about that's no longer being used, we always speak with the homeowner, business owner, and see if we can get that removed from our water main to prevent future problems. So we did have one at 306 South Cherry Street. The property there was tore down years ago. That property is now part of what was Phil Smeeky's property there, by your house, Steve.
Yeah,
So remove that service from the main there. And then, we had a tapping saddle at the Waters of Huntingburg off Chestnut Street. And I included some pictures. The top two pictures, there are of that tapping saddle. The corporation stop, which is brass that looks practically brand new, has been in the ground just as long as that saddle has. The saddle is a cast steel that has a coating on it that, as you can tell, it's deteriorated over the time and rotted away.
worn off.
That service, we've been fighting a wet spot in the curb line for the last year and a half. We've used our listening devices. It comes, it goes, it'll show up for a day, it'll disappear for 3 weeks. What we found, after this winter was the water grew larger where we could actually get a sample of it to be able to see that it was potable water. When we dug down on the surface, that saddle was still on the main and was just barely seeping water out of it. So with the ground, the heat and the cold of the ground, the contraction of the service line, it was pulling that service away from the main just enough occasionally to let water out and then pushing it back up against it to seal it off. So we got that replaced and taken care of. We did attend an 811 pipeline safety seminar as well, just to pick up on the new laws and regulations. And then we've had I've got 2 employees currently that are certified in backflow certification testing. So we've been going around the Old Town Hall, wastewater department, energy department, police department, as well as the water facility, testing and certifying backflows. And then we did have a valve box that was broke around snow removal on 4th Street. So we didn't have to dig up that valve box. Down here, we worked with the Jasper Water Department. They purchased a tool here recently. It's called a Kiefer cutter, and it drops down inside of the valve box and cuts the valve box. And then they have a new insert that drops down inside there. It brings it back down to ground level, so it is flush. It saved us a lot of work. It has a seal that goes down over it as well, so it is tight. There's not going to be any debris or anything being able to fall in that valve box. Thing with 4th Street is it's full of rock. We go to excavate a small 6-inch hole around that valve box, and we'll have a 4-foot by 4-foot hole by the time we're done. We really appreciate their help on that.
That was
And,
located just, if you're turning west, it's going southbound, turn west
Right, yep,
on the 4th Street. It was just right there.
just, yeah.
It was
just
almost
east,
impossible to miss. So.
just east of the gas
It's
light.
about the
Everybody's
worst place
turning
to
there.
put
It was, it kept flipping the valve lid out of it, so. But we got it taken care of, and then, we did, have a water main break on Highway 64 on February 23rd. It was a Sunday. It took us about an hour and a half to find it. We didn't know where it was. Our tank levels were dropping. It was in the field just to the west of Starline Drive there on Highway 64. And unfortunately, there's a ditch line that runs right underneath of it. So it was catching the ditch and following the ditch out there. We lost roughly 1.1 million gallons of water with that leak.
Wow.
It had a 360 crack around the pipe and then a hole blown in about the size of your fist.
No kidding.
So we spent about 8 hours Sunday working on that leak to get it repaired. And then we had another water main break, actually the following Monday night, 11:30. It was a fairly large break as well. We did catch it early, didn't lose near the amount of water. And the guys were here from 11:30 Monday night until 3:30 Tuesday in the afternoon. We still had a lot of stuff to clean up, put the road back and take care of things. So they hung in there for us and continued to work throughout the day. Then we moved down to, we kind of worked with the street department a little bit with the hydro excavator. They did a lot of tile work there at 20th Street and Irvine Court. We went out and helped pothole underground utilities for them. It's a lot quicker, takes the possible damage of utility out by using a machine. It's quicker than using a shovel. And then we also assisted them helping them clean out their beet juice tank out in the street department with that machine. And then we also, I've got on there where we test our wholesale meter pits with Duff and St. Anthony. We have certified double checks there as well. That way, if there's ever an issue with their water systems with contamination or anything, that water will not flow back on the city of Huntingburg. And then we also, I did miss it on here, but we did start hydrant flushing. We are a little over halfway done with that. It's taking us a little longer this year. We do turn valves in the spring, so every valve in the city does get turned. That adds quite a bit of time on it with the guys having to go and, you know, most valves are anywhere from 20 to 40 rounds to shut them and 20 to 40 rounds to open them back up. So
Is that a manual process?
we do have two battery operated valve turners.
I saw one of them on the internet on a video.
It's a
recently.
Milwaukee unit.
Yeah,
And it's very slick. We have purchased two of them over the last probably 3 years. They're reasonable. They're around $5,000 for the unit. And in my opinion, the cost on a rotator cuff surgery or
Yeah.
anything along those lines.
How much does that cost?
It far surpasses that.
I can give you a number on that one of these
Yeah.
days.
So, yeah, so we do, you know, we try not to, being that we only do that twice a year, we do run 2 crews. So usually one guy's using that valve at an intersection, another guy's using a manual wrench.
Yeah.
And then at the next intersection, they'll switch. So we still do manually turn valves as well, but, it is a great tool. Anytime we have hard turning valves, we like to exercise an extra. They have a rubber gate that slides down in guides that seats them in the bottom of that valve for 100% seal. The tuberculation in the water main that builds up also builds up in the valves. So sometimes when that builds up, it'll cause that gate to slide slowly. So if you continue to open them and close them multiple times, that helps break that loose. One of the things that we pride ourselves on, to be able to have, I guess, limited shutdowns in the city for water main breaks. There's some of these towns that have to go out 5 and 6 blocks to be able to shut down
yeah.
a small area. And we have very good luck with shutting down our water system block by block.
They got a clutch on it or something?
It does. It does have it has a gear reduction box on it, and then it does have a slip clutch on it.
Yeah, so you can't just
It
like,
does take a lot to slip it though. If you're
well,
not-
yeah, but
It does, it has a valve counter on it. So, you know, we all know the size of water mains that we're on, so that's very important for that because we do want to make sure that it is shutting down. Any valve size is, you take the size of the valve times 3 plus 4. Couldn't tell you why, that's just how, that's the ratio on them. So we do, they do have valve counters on them, and the guys that are turning them manually sit there and count their rotations. It's a very slow process. It's a quarter turn every second, so we don't get valve hammer and cause any issues with blowing out water mains or anything like that. But you know, those valve counters, they do watch those to make sure we are getting full shutdown. If you aren't paying attention, they'll push you around a little bit.
yeah.
But they do have a clutch system on them that does kick in, so there's no severe safety issues there. I think like I said, we've been using it for about 3 years, and we started out with one, we ran one the first year, and the second year we bought another. So.
Good.
They work out great. With all that, we have also, Donnie Heim with the fire department is getting very involved with any emergency response planning he can do. I won't talk on it too much because you don't have it launched out there, but he's got an app that he's working on, with a company. And we are, triple checking our tags for our fire hydrants, our fitting sizes on those to make sure they're all accurate. It's gonna be something he's gonna be able to put on there when they go out and they get a call. He can look at that and it'll tell him exactly how many gallons per minute that hydrant puts out, if it has a Storks fitting on it, or if it's a 5-inch threaded fitting on the steamer hose. It'll be able to give him a lot of information. If we have fire hydrants out of service, he'll be able to include that in there until they're back in service. So that'll be available to all of his department members as well. So we're really trying to build on that too. So kind of slows things down for us, but we're grateful to do it because it's only going to help the community.
Oh, yeah.
Other than that, we'll jump into the filtration plant. We did our standalone generator that runs the water filtration plant anytime we do have a power outage. The radiator core sprung a leak on that. So we did, we normally have Evapar out of Evansville work on that stuff. They were kind of out quite a bit as far as getting a crew up here to work on it. So we took some time and jumped in, and half the generator had to come apart in order to get that radiator out of there. It was 4 foot by 3 foot by 1.5 feet thick. It was a very large radiator, but we did get that taken up to Yoder's Radiator Repair, and they completely overhauled it. It's got a new core in it. The tanks have been reconditioned. So it's a new radiator. It is all put back together and in proper working order. Other than that, we had a broken actuator valve. It's the electronic valve for our filtration system that allows our water process that is automated to open and close large gate valves. We did have an actuator go down on that, so we were able to replace it with one we had on hand, and then took this actuator apart to repair it. The other thing that I don't have on there, happened after I filled out this report, is our night shift operator, Doug Polly. He has been working really hard at getting his water treatment test passed. He is, for about the last 4 months, he's been working as an operator in training underneath our chief operator, Jason Merkel. He did take that test last week and passed that, so he does hold his WT4 water treatment license now. So that test has about 11% pass rate in the state of Indiana. So
Wow.
it's always big whenever we pass those tests, because they're extremely hard.
Good.
So he'll continue on. We do have to hold a wastewater license out there for our drying beds and our sludge basins. So he'll continue on to take that test, as well as his distribution test as well. We try to have everybody cross-trained to where they can work in the water treatment facility and the distribution system as needed. Other than that, our metering system, we are installing our large diameter meters as they come in. We roughly have about 15 more that we're waiting on. So we're hoping to have those wrapped up 100% in 2025. So everything will be on our AMI system, and we will no longer require a meter reader.
Very good.
Very good.
Other than that, I did, when we talked last meeting, I got some information on the 2 potential coatings for the filter cells that we spoke about. One was a material called Ovic. Actually, we'll touch on the Warren Environmental because it's the first one on the list, and I gave those to you in paper copy because I think I screwed it up and didn't get them added. But this is that Ovic material. The Ovic material is the membrane that doesn't harden whenever it's dry. It has some pliability to it. So we did talk to some communities that have used this Ovic material. They all have good things to say about it. There wasn't one of them that had a bad thing to say about it. There's also 2 pictures there of the Ovic material that applicated onto some potable water tanks. And then the other one, I apologize, I told you I was gonna talk about it first. The Warren Environmental product, the 301-01, that is the material that is, it hardens 100% after it's applied. I've also spoke with multiple water companies that used it, and they have no complaints about it. I haven't got one bad thing about any of them. Really, I think when John estimated the total cost on them, they were very competitive with their costs. In my opinion, when we get into this and get bid it out, I would like to bid both materials out and then go from there from that standpoint. I told you I'd get you guys that information, so you had it to be able.
One of the big questions out there is none of these will cause an increase in PFAS or anything.
No, they will not. Nope, 100% will not. If it's has anything to do with PFAS, it cannot be used.
We want that on
Yeah.
record.
No, that's
Yeah.
a government standpoint that nothing like that can be used in the water treatment process. So no, not at all. We know all too well about
Yeah.
PFAS.
Okay,
And then The only other thing I had here is we did discuss coming back with, some financial options, after they were looked into. For that project, to try to go ahead and get the ball rolling on that. I did reach out to Buzz Cronin yesterday, and, we talked about it a little more as well. He did send an email. I believe you all got forwarded that email. If you didn't, I did include it there in that packet too. Which is, assumptions, observations, considerations. One thing with looking at outside funding is due to the fact that we already do currently have an SRF loan. Any kind of outside funding that we would seek, we would have to have approval from SRF in order to seek that funding. There's a lengthy window on that to be able to get that approval. Along with that, any outside funding that we normally do usually occurs close to $25,000 worth of costs for application processes and all the paperwork that goes with that.
And this may
After-
not be eligible because it's considered maintenance too.
It could
It's not
simply not be,
expanding.
and the fact
We're
that.
not, you're not expanding the plant.
Right, and not that $1.2 million is a small amount of money, but they also have some regulations with the funding dollar amounts as well. So with that, Buzz did a really good job. He found with our finances here, with the key consideration that I myself agree with would be to, with your approval, run the project as a 50-50, where it'd be $600,000 from the water department, and then borrowing $600,000 from the energy department with a 5-year return on that loan with the energy department. As you can see here within his email, we've done a considerable job at building our funds up over the last 5 to 6 years. When I took this position close to 4 years ago, I didn't hire an employee to try to help build those funds. The water department has always lacked in funding. So we've got a great crew that's really stepped up, and we haven't had to fill that position. So we've saved that salary. Anything that we can do with time management or can be kept in-house, we've done to keep costs down, to be able to build our funds. This option here with the 50-50 loan still also allows us ample funding for water main replacements for the next years to come. We do have one that I will be bringing to council for Walnut Street. It's a community crossing grant. I don't want to blindside you with this and then that. But that water main does need to be replaced. It is very constricted, and all the service lines in that block are lead, so they have to be replaced as well
Which one?
regardless.
What line?
Um,
What street?
Walnut Street between Second and Third Street.
No, that's,
So, and it's a community crossing grant that'll be paid this year as well. So we want to get that infrastructure done before the paving comes into play. So, with
The
this
big
option,
savior here is that the fact that depreciation has always
yes,
been there and it's not a cash issue.
yeah.
very correct. So, I don't know if you guys have any questions about any of that, or we can, look to move forward to approve that so we can keep this project rolling. I'd like to stay on track so we can do this in the fall and our low demand
So any
time of the season for the
is
spring.
there action needed on this or what?
Well, so
Yeah.
you had the report of Commonwealth Engineers last meeting and their recommendation to move forward with final plans for bidding. I don't think we took action on that. We wanted to look at what financing was available. Recommendation by our rate accountant and superintendent is to fund half with operating funds and the other half with an electric loan. So I think if you decide to go that method, I think we just authorize the bid documents to be prepared, get bids, and then finalize the financing once we have the bids. We don't know how much to borrow until we know what the bids are.
I just want to make sure we've got approval to continue forward.
So it's probably a good idea to go on record tonight if you choose to authorize Commonwealth to proceed with preparing bid documents.
I don't have any further comment. You?
No.
I'll make a motion to allow Commonwealth to go ahead with the bid documents.
Yes. I'll second
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
McFerrin,
Aye.
Bounds, Ware,
it. Aye.
Bolte,
Aye.
Kissling.
Aye.
Four ayes, one absent.
I think you motion passed, move ahead with Commonwealth on design.
Thank you guys, that's all I have.
Good plan. Thank you.
Mhm.
We can do it in drawing, why not?
Next, we have, City Attorney Phil Schneider, going back to the gas rate ordinance introduction.
Right, as you recall, last meeting, we reviewed after the public hearing, the proposed gas rate ordinance. You decided to reject it and instructed the rate accountant to look at it again and to revise the monthly demand charge or customer charge. And reduce the amount of the volume charges in order to lessen the impact of the rates on residential consumers. And also to reduce the cash revenue requirements by, I think it was 250,000, I believe. And so Mr. Crone has done that, and he's revised his report, and I believe we've all been provided a copy with that on community software. And I think Mr. Crone is here somewhere in the cloud.
I'm here. Thank you, guys. Do you want me to go through? I won't go through all the slides, but maybe just the ones that changed, but you explained it perfectly at the last meeting. The council gave us, well, we had a discussion about the extraordinary metering expenditures and some distribution upgrades that are almost done. There's still some out there to be done, but we cut 200,000 off of the material and supply allowance, and then we cut another 50,000 off of the electric loan repayment because we think that, you know, we may not even get to the point where we have to borrow it, but and our cash should catch up, you know, by the end of May. So the overall rate or increase in revenues was about 24% before, and now it's down to about 16.5%, 17%. So that was a, you know, considerable difference in the amount of revenue increase being requested. And then I think another point is, yes, we were directed to do a little bit more on the base charge, the monthly base charge. In the current version of the slides and the ordinance would take the residential base charge to $12.50 instead of $7.40. And then we backed into then the impact on the volumetric charge per MCF, and everybody's being treated the same there at 85 cents per MCF. And then instead of, you know, almost $1 million, it was 950,000 or 60,000 that we were originally seeking approval of. It takes that down to about 675,000. So those were some significant changes, and I commend the council. I think we had a really good work session last time. I apologize I'm not there in person tonight, but if I flash my picture up there, you'd know why.
I understand.
But at any rate, that's sort of in a nutshell. Would you like me to just flip through a couple of those slides, or
Yeah, you have the ability to do that.
I don't even think, I mean, we've seen them already. Haven't you? Wait, everybody has seen them?
everybody's seen them? And
You've seen them?
We,
I mean, they're here. We've all looked at them.
we forwarded
Yeah.
those to everybody, so they had them.
and so given that, I'd just be available for questions. We did increase everybody's base charge proportionally to the residential base charge. We did not make any change to the outside city surcharge. We left, well, I guess we made a 7-cent change just to get it back to $5. In 2022, we had to lower all the rates by 1.2%, or when the state gross income tax was repealed. So we just went back to $5 on that charge. That's been the same since, gosh, I think 1994. But we did do a cost of service analysis, had to do with customer density on the inside city versus outside city. And it's not just a percentage, it was a specific dollar amount. And then I think I threw a little bit of gas rate history into one of those emails. I don't know if you got to that one yet,
Print it off here.
but I thought that was, interesting background for Phil and I've been here a long time, so. But with that, I guess I'd just take questions, if you have some, or whatever is your pleasure.
I think.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think nobody really wants an increase, but I think we've worked really, really hard to minimize or to get this down as low as we possibly can. So we had talked before about doing it maybe in 2 phases, but I think we've decreased it from 24% to 16%. So that's pretty substantial in what we've done.
I've considered that too. I think, do we still interested in doing a 2-phase thing or just do it at one time and be done with it?
What would be the complications, Buzz, of phasing this in 2 parts? Is it complicated or not?
No, Phil would just have to put another column in the rate ordinance, but it would not be, since we already have the high number in the ordinance, I don't think there would be a problem in doing a 2-step phase. What are your thoughts, Phil?
No, I would have to amend the ordinance. You could introduce what you've got before you, then you'd have to amend it before you adopt it. I guess and Buzz, you could speak to this, and maybe Tom as well. The concern I would have is the gas department needs relief now. I mean, to phase it in is gonna delay the relief that they really need, the financial relief that they really need. They're burning through cash. I think at the rate of about 200,000 a year or more, over and above revenues. I just personally believe that you need to implement the rates. Our ratepayers have had the benefit of low rates all these years since 2013, when there was no rate increases. So I just think it's time to bite the bullet and adopt the rates.
And I did put some updated rate comparisons in there, and when you look at where you are with CenterPoint Utilities, which is a for-profit investor-owned utility, and they serve more residential customers throughout the state of Indiana than anybody, and you're significantly less than they are. And on the average, you're not that much different than Jasper. I think on the peak month, there's a little bit of a gap, but I think that.
Any
Go ahead.
input from the superintendent?
I'm sorry?
No, go ahead.
We're asking if the energy superintendent has any
Oh, I'm sorry.
opinion or and he's been neck deep in this for months.
Agree with Phil. I'd like to say, need to get the rates up to where they need to be.
Okay.
To be.
It's hard.
I want to make sure everybody gets heard. That's all.
I'm
That's
just gonna
it.
say, it's hard to catch up without volume, and if we go in a second rate, we're gonna miss the initial volume that we get in the fall and the winter. That we're
Yeah.
not gonna be able to capture. That's another issue.
Glenn has something.
Glenn wants to say something.
He's got his finger up.
Yep, I was just gonna agree with Phil that I think we need the cash flow. Our gas department is in trouble, really. If you took that financial statement to a bank, I don't think it'd give us a loan. So I think we need to get the cash flow going and get it done.
I don't think anybody's against it. I just think we want to make sure that we've discussed it.
I agree.
Well,
Go ahead.
And I think the way that we're doing it is gonna be a little bit of a tapered approach anyhow, because if we're doing part of it on like on the base rate, that's gonna be a little jump now, and then they'll have through the summer months to kind of adjust. And then we'll have what is on the usage will happen like in the
It'll phase
fall and
in.
winter.
It'll phase
Yeah,
in
that it's
then.
kind of, I think, gonna naturally phase itself in, sort of.
We are lucky to have the rates that we had over the past years, like Phil said. The only thing I'm real concerned that we did have a big hit on the wastewater, and that probably made up all the savings we did on that, what people were paying on the rates we're doing for the wastewater treatment plant now. So this is why I'm concerned, like, how could that keep us going on a favoring a 2-year rate? I know any rate increase we do now is gonna help out. I understand we're still a little bit behind, but we do have the loan and capability from the
I don't,
the electric department.
I
So
think though that we've reduced it so much from the 24 to where we are now, we've whittled down what we can so that we don't have to phase it out into, we have it as small as we can have now. Because I think that it does stink, that the wastewater, I mean, I am definitely feeling it on my bill.
I too.
But I think that it's because people haven't taken action, that we need to just take action, go forward and do this. So that's my take. I think that we've done, I mean, we're trying to be good servants of everybody's money. And I think that in us taking time with Buzz last time and kind of walking through all the things, trimming as much fat as we could off of what we have to make it as lean as possible. We've done what we can, and now we just need to bite the bullet and make the change, and then.
okay.
Because I think
I agree.
it is like we've seen where there's just one thing after another. Because after this, if we have to do something else, there's gonna be other increases, and that's part of how it stinks, but that's how this is with, everything is going up, so. I'm just anticipating another one.
But this-
Jerry, I'm looking at you for what you have.
I know.
coming
This
up
is the only
next with-
opportunity
yeah.
to keep it as low as can is do it in the two-phase series.
How would you do it in 2 phases?
Split it in half and just do the
No.
meter rate changes in half of that and leave the rest go. I mean, that's the only thing I can really come up with. But
I'm,
if you guys think we need to do it all now, I guess we should.
I think the impact is minimal to wait after looking at it. I think we've done our due diligence as far as, at least we've tried to minimize the impact. Bud was good to work with us, but I would be ready to introduce this ordinance tonight as presented and just phase it in. It's gonna come in. We're not gonna
I
save
agree.
that much. I think Glenn's in agreement.
Yep.
But I mean, it's coming anyway, so, but we've reduced it significant amount. I mean, I think it's more than 24%. It was 27 at one time. I was looking at something, so. But unless anybody's got further comment.
It's not much difference, and if you take the initial proposal into 2 sections, this isn't much higher,
It isn't much different.
much different as what a half of the original one was.
Yeah, the off-peak rate is about 16%. I'm sorry, the peak rate, the peak monthly rate was about 16%. The off-peak rate is a little bit more because, you're starting with such a low base charge to begin with, that $5.10, when you're looking at a $40 bill, it's a bigger percentage than, the volumetric increase in the peak month. I don't know if that makes sense to you all, but I did add a lot of, additional calculations in those rate comparisons, and I think the first meeting we had, we focused on that one peak month, because that's the worst case month, and I know it's only worst case if you're average. If you're above average, it could be a little bit worse because you're using more volume, but the volume charge went from $1.40 increase to 85 cents, so that was a significant reduction. But 2/3 of the revenue increase comes from the volumetric charge, and about 1/3 of the incremental revenue comes from the base charge.
2025-08.
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance 2025-08.
I'll second.
First and a second, all those in to introduce ordinance 2025-08. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed?
McFerrin,
Aye.
Bounds, Ware,
Aye.
Bolte,
Aye.
Kissling,
Aye.
4 ayes, 1 absent.
Okay, not on the file.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Buzz.
Thanks, Buzz.
Thanks, Buzz.
So the next step would be to sign this for a public hearing. Our next meeting would be the eighth, April 8th, but I'd be awfully close. We'd have to get it in the newspaper Saturday, and there's not always.
I won't be able to be there on the eighth.
I won't be able to hear.
I could do it by Zoom, but I'll be
Yeah.
out of town.
So perhaps the
Does April-
11th, the 22nd would be our second meeting in April.
And we need a quorum to be able to
Yeah, we
accomplish
need-
that.
Just a quorum.
We'd need just a quorum, but we could not participate electronically because it's an establishment of a final
Yeah, we
word.
can't be electronic either on that day. Let me check the eighth, or
So the 8th is possible as soon as possible, but that would be a stretch. 22nd would be the preferable.
Yeah, that one works for me, the 22nd.
Okay.
To be in person. I could Zoom in on the 8th, but
We do a poll. Do you think we'll have a quorum on the 22nd?
I will not be at that meeting either, but that's okay.
I think so.
I'll be there.
I'll be there.
There's 3.
All right.
we actually had a public
You did.
hearing on a higher rate proposal than the one we're scheduled for now. But I'll put the 22nd. Is that at 5:30?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna book that on my calendar. And thank you all. I think you've really given a lot of thought to this decision, and I feel very good about how you're proceeding right here.
Hang on, Buzz. I got a
Okay.
question. Connect and reconnect.
We're good for the Zoom?
Oh,
I think we got 3 ordinances on that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah. okay.
I'll have to bring those back.
They're all gonna be the same amount.
Yeah, so right now, we're increasing the gas connect and reconnect charges.
Okay,
The other utilities are lower. We want to bring them all up to the same level. So at the next meeting, I'll bring ordinances that would revise those non-recurring charges for reconnecting water and gas.
So we
And
get
electric.
all the same, yeah.
Water electric, because gas is going to be controlled here.
Majority of the reconnect fees are incurred by the electric department.
Okay.
I wanna make sure that all gets the same.
yes, it would be complicated for the utility department, the billing
So
department.
that will all be in place by the time the gas rates become.
Those are non-reoccurring rates, so those are.
yeah. They don't impact any current customers.
That's right.
I'll make
Do
sure
I-
all 3 utilities get the same charge.
Do we need to, make a motion to set the meeting,
The hearing date, yeah.
a hearing date? I'll make a motion, to set the hearing date for April 22nd, 5:30 PM, council chambers.
I'll second it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed?
McFerrin.
Aye.
Bounds. Ware,
Aye.
Bolte,
Aye.
Kissling,
Aye.
Meeting dates.
4 ayes, 1 absent.
Hearing date's been set for April 22nd. Thank you, everybody, for your input. Bert Frazier, Thomas Stipple,
Nothing.
council items.
Thing I wanted to say is I made a comment, internally today, great job by Shelley Leathers downstairs helping us out on this new, format we're using. Appreciate her. And I want to make sure that's publicly known. She's doing a great job at this point. So she is.
Yeah, she did a great job on my issue too, on my same issues you have, I believe.
Your header up here, there are how-to videos and they're available now too.
Now I can get to it.
Oh, yeah.
Now you can get to it. There are some.
Yes, she did a good job.
And products that, I'm not sure that it pertains to you because I haven't looked at them yet, but, yeah, it is a new system and it's great. Only thing I want to add is that, it looks like by June, we'll be converting our meetings over to Zoom from YouTube on a distance. And part of that reason is for security reasons right now. YouTube allows for too much hanky-panky from AI people where they can actually change your voices and what you're saying at these meetings.
No, geez.
They can also make derogatory comments and they can insert ads that are inappropriate. So
Oh, wow.
we're trying to get away from a lot of that stuff that's happening with YouTube. Our connection is gonna be, our picture quality will go from 720 to 1080 DPI, which would be
Better.
a lot better. It'll be the same system that, all the state offices are utilizing now for their public meetings and rolling too.
I don't know about you, but I kind of like the blurry.
You'll be able to see your pores on the
The other thing that this allows us to do is that we'll have touchscreen here and as well as a touchscreen off to the side. That we do not need to utilize Rob Mendel to set these up.
Oh, that's
Oh, wow.
nice. Yeah.
Because Rob likes vacations, he likes to be home at night with his family.
I believe
And when
it.
we go to all the board meetings that will be included in this project, it'll just probably be more than we probably need to get services for. So it'll allow us to do a touch and go with Zoom. Also, we can share that with media. They can be recorded. Just to let you know, we're working towards that. So you may see some speakers and cameras and things being installed and we'll move from there.
Good deal.
I
Looking forward
noticed
to it.
that Windows 10 is no longer going to be supported after October.
Yes.
I'm not sure if that affects these because these Windows 10 is what's loaded here, right?
Had that conversation with Rob, and I don't remember what Ali told me, so.
Okay.
We'll have
That's
to-
a Rob
Maybe they're-
question.
Maybe they're eligible for an update.
Yeah, there's, I think we'll have. I know most of them are updatable, at least Tim's and Jeff's will be once he gets his new one.
I know this much, my battery life is about 30 minutes on
Yeah,
this.
I'm like,
Yeah,
Mine's really bad.
mine's gone from 30 to 63 while we're here, so it's not charged adequately, so. We have to look at that. I know we didn't have the budget for this year, but we'll have to scrape it from somewhere. Just an update too, because we did discuss it and both about Board of Public Works in here is that Tom and I did look at funding options. I think we're ready to move forward with the roof at the City Hall as soon as we get approval to send out for bid. But we'll probably give a couple different options of bidding and make a decision from
Yeah,
there.
it's plugged in all day.
that's good. We need
So I know
that.
some of that's from the cigarette tobacco and
Mhm.
a couple other funds that are sitting there.
It's good use money for that.
I say non-property tax funds, hopefully most of it. So,
We'll be fine.
all right,
Send
do you have any citizen items? Malia, do you have anything?
Not
Talk
really.
about what you're doing next week,
Yeah.
April 1st.
Yes, we're gonna go to Indianapolis. Is it like a legislative, conference?
Yeah, we'll spend some time at AIM and then head over and meet with your legislators. It'll be a fun day, April 1st, a lot of scheduled on that day, a lot of big bills are set for vote, including SB 1 and some of the other bigger ones. So it'll be a great experience for you.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that on the way up and the way back and
Pretty much your whole club besides one student will be going, so it's pretty exciting.
Great.
Very good.
Other than that, I don't really know anything, but personally, the sky's the limit is this weekend, so if you don't have anything going, bring your family.
it's from 10 to 1,
11 to 3
11 to 3.
on Saturday.
I'm sorry, I have a 10 to 1 on my schedule, so I guess I'm wrong.
Any updates on the flower garden?
On what?
On your garden?
Not yet. We're struggling to get everyone like to go there. So
Can't imagine.
that's the biggest problem. But once we set a date,
Okay.
Just ask them to set a date, we'll have city employees there to help them with equipment let's get
What
it
I-
all done in one day and knocked out.
I have the
Very
same
good.
problem when I schedule things that involve hoses, rakes and shovels. I can't do it.
That's pretty.
Bill knows that. I was by myself. the other day.
Sorry.
I'll need a number 13, we need to counteract that, we need to act on that right now. That's the adjournment section of today's.
Oh,
I'm making a motion to adjourn.
Okay, got a motion to adjourn,
I'll second.
we have a second, all those in favor?
All right,
Bye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Roll call. McFerrin.
right.
Bounds. Ware.
Aye.
Bolte.
Aye.
Kissling.
Aye.
Motion
Aye.
carries.
One absent.
Call them, meeting adjourned, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
See you.
Goodbye.
Enjoy your time.
Rob just came through that they're upgrading, he's working on the machines now, moving everybody over to Windows 11. I sent you all an email
Is that
today.
that's the one that